decided to try this silly little thing called P90X in the basement over 90 days. And it was life-changing. Those 90 days together brought us all the way up to here where we are now, 10 years later. And the experiences that we've had together have just been phenomenal. The lives that we've been able to touch and be part of, those are, as I said before, the really amazing experiences. You are all so blessed to be able to have the next 45 minutes to listen to this guy speak. He is a mastermind when it comes to learning how to build success in this business. And it's not just because of the business mind. This guy has one of the biggest hearts that I've ever seen in a human being. His commitment to helping people understand how to take that next step towards your goal, to take that next step towards whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. That's what he's committed himself to do. That's why he sits on the top of an organization that's 25,000 or more people deep. That's why he's earned over $5 million as a Team Beachbody coach, because of the thousands of lives that have been changed, because he's been able to see the vision of their success for them and to help draw that out and bring that into reality. So with that, please listen up over the next 45 minutes, because you're about to catch some gems of knowledge and wisdom and how to really build this kind of business and how to get busy changing lives. That's what this is all about. It's not about learning how to run a challenge group or learning how to say a specific line or learn a script. That's not what any of this is. This is about learning how to touch people deeply, heart to heart, and have life-changing experience. That's what this guy does in a very, very big way. I'm thrilled to introduce my best friend and business partner, Callahan.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Let's all stand up. I don't know about you guys, but we've been sitting down for 2 hours, and I'm not a sitting person, so let's all just start bouncing up and down a little bit. I wanna.
You too.
So keep doing this. If you're not bouncing, I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna kind of call you out. So I want to introduce you guys to something that I always used to do when I was first started building my business. I see you guys who aren't bouncing. So you're gonna have to sit for 45 more minutes. I used to do this all the time. One of the biggest things that you're gonna struggle with in this business is what's in your own mind. Keep bouncing for a second. I'm gonna bring back to you. What's in your own mind? So I used to have this little, I'm gonna bring you into my world. I used to have this little, I called it my funk dance, and I would just bounce up and down saying funk, funk, funk. And I wouldn't, I would start bouncing side to side and going back and forth, right? All right, you guys can stop and you can sit down if you want. But what we're gonna talk about today, and what I want to share with you guys, is 90% of your coaching business has nothing to do with Beachbody. It has nothing to do with challenge groups. It has nothing to do with business opportunities. It has nothing to do with Shakeology, and it has nothing to do with all these new programs that we're coming out with. 90% of your success has to do with what's going on up here. Because if you don't get this right, then none of it's going to work, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And if there's one thing that you could walk away from today, if there's one switch that we could have happen in your mind, here's what the switch would be. And here's what I want to try to get accomplished today, is I want to switch the question that's in your mind. So here's sort of the questions that go through our minds as Beachbody coaches, and this goes through my mind. The questions are, can I do that? Can I really do what she did? Can I really do what that woman that they just showed, that 2-star diamond, that 5-star diamond, that 10-star diamond, that 15-star diamond. Can I do that? What's the next training that I have to take, right? Oh, that Instagram training, so I gotta get on that Instagram training. Once I do that training, that's gonna make the difference in my business, right? Can I do this? Am I good enough for this? Am I worthy of this type of success? Those are the questions, right? Raise your hand if those questions don't go through your mind. Right? We all have it. We all struggle with those questions. And what I want to accomplish today, by the end of the day, is we switch the question to not, can I do this? Because if I did my job right today, what we're going to do and what's going to be the question that's in our minds, am I willing to do what it takes? Am I willing to do what it takes? Because I'm going to show you, I'm going to outline a very simple plan for 2019. It's going to be a very simple plan, and you're going to say, you know what, he's right. Whatever my goal is, whatever that goal is, that big, hairy goal that scares you, that goal that you don't want to tell somebody, you're going to say, you know what, if I follow what Keith just taught me, I'm going to be able to achieve those goals. Because the question's no longer going to be, can you do it? It's going to be, are you willing to do the work? And I'm going to give, so that's the good news. I'm going to give you the outline. Here's the bad news. The work is going to be about becoming the best you. It's also the good news, but it's not easy, right? The work is going to be walking through that fear. The work is going to be walking through that depression, walking through that anxiety, walking through that self-doubt, walking through that guilt, walking through that shame. Because until we heal those things, guys, we can't help anybody. You know what the most beautiful thing a coach can do? This is like this is the highest level of a coaching opportunity, and this is what is going to explode your business. You walk through something and you share that. Because you know what that does? That inspires and empowers other people. Because it's not about I'm getting carried away. I'm getting too far into my presentation. I just get excited. I get excited about this stuff because I've had mentors in my life. I've been blessed to have Bob as a mentor. I've been blessed to have Craig Holiday as a mentor. And I've had two things in my life. I've had my connection with God, and I've had the opportunity through Beachbody. And I would say that those two things gave me the opportunity to walk through fears. God first, like that connection, and then the opportunity with Beachbody, the opportunity to come in at a certain level, because we all start at the same place, right? We all start at coach, 0 customers, 0 personally sponsored coaches. And we have the opportunity to stay there, which is cool, but we also have the opportunity to grow. And for everybody that's in this room, you're here, you're at a Super Saturday because you want to grow, right? You have big dreams and big goals for 2019. That's why you're here. So I want to start off a little bit. If it's cool with you guys, I'm going to tell like 5 minutes of my story, and then I'm going to give you how to. Everybody wants how to, right? Mm-hmm. Like step-by-step, checklist, like get your notebooks out and we'll go through the how to. So when I was growing up, I wanted to be rich. And I wanted to be rich because I wanted money. I didn't want to help people. It was this young, teenage, ego-driven, I wanted the fancy car, I wanted the nice house, I wanted, the hot pinup girl that goes along with that. Like, I wanted all of that. That's ever since I've been like 13 years old, that's what I wanted. It wasn't out to save the world, it wasn't out to help people, it wasn't to change lives or any of that. I just wanted to be rich. And you guys will sort of get a glimpse of this. So Is there any young kids in here?
What's,
Oh, there are?
yeah, 15.
Okay. Well, so marijuana is legal in Massachusetts now. So pretend we're in Massachusetts and we can tell this story. When I got my license, this is like how much I wanted to be rich. So when I got my license, I lived in a town called Norton, and a half hour away, there was another town called Easton. And Easton had this road called Castle Road. So I would get in my little Honda CRX with, and it's only a two-seater, and I would always have like one buddy with me, and sometimes we would have a buddy laying down in the hatchback, right? So I would get in the little Honda CRX, and we would go for our cruises down this road, Castle Road, and Castle Road had all these big houses. So we would go for these cruises down these roads, and I had these stories of all the houses in there, these stories of like, what does that guy do? What does that guy do? And I literally had I would take different friends all the time, and for I was probably like 22 or 23 before I stopped doing this. Like driving, it was like what I did, like go and smoke and drive down this road, right? So I always had this, like I always wanted to have wealth, and it wasn't even wealth then, I wanted to be rich, right? And I had the good fortune of started building a business with a friend, and we started buying and selling real estate, and we got to the point that we were buying, or we were working on houses, so we would buy them, fix them up, sell them, right? So we got to the point that we were doing about 10 houses at a time, and the money was rolling in, and it was cool, right? I was living down, we did it up in Boston, and then the market kind of tightened up in Boston, so we went down to Charlotte, North Carolina, and started doing it down there. And I had it going on. I was rich. I had it all figured out. I had this money coming in, and it was great. And then the market turned. And I found myself stuck with 9 homes that we had paid about $150,000 each that were worth about $50,000 now. So the market turns, I find myself, yes, where you can click and do that. Okay. I found myself having to file a personal bankruptcy and a business bankruptcy. So if you can imagine, and this is around the time that I started Beachbody coaching, so Bob just shared. I didn't even cross out important stuff.
Address.
You guys are a good attorney, so you guys need a good bankruptcy attorney. Call Andre. If you're in Massachusetts, I don't think he does Connecticut. Man, just looking at that though, that documents represent so many different things, but I remember Andre telling me, we were on a first name basis, because when you go through a business bankruptcy, it's different than a personal bankruptcy, and they dig into everything. So, the feelings that went along with this, shame, guilt, insecurity, failure. But there was also a blessing in it, because it took me from a young, ego-centered, me, money, financial person, and it really dropped me, and it dropped me to somebody that needed to rebuild himself financially, needed to rebuild himself. Is that good? Speaker-wise? Microphone?
Mm-hmm.
Good? All right.
Is it better like this or with the microphone?
All right. This is around the time that I met Bob. This is around the time that is it when I walk closer to that? Every time I walk over here?
No, it's just a little muffling.
You're good.
Better
You're good.
like this.
Yeah.
All right. I'm new at this, guys.
You're cool. You're soundproof's guy.
All right. So it was a rock bottom place. Like nobody. I'm a type A male. You know, there's still that ego's never gonna go away. You know, that's the type of guy I am. And at this time, go forward one more slide. So at this time, I was newly married and we just had our first daughter. And at the same time, I had filed bankruptcy. And when I had filed bankruptcy, one of the worst things that they did, so my wife comes into this, everything that I did prior to getting married to her, I had done, it was like without her, right? And then guess what happens when you get married and you file bankruptcy? They bring your wife into it. So now my wife has to, it was like for 3 years, they made me bring her bank statements to like the bankruptcy court and what car did she buy, where did she live. So all of a sudden, like there's this like financial drain and everything, and even looking at those two different documents, right? Like that's beautiful, like the right-hand side of that's beautiful and bright and shiny, and then you look at a bankruptcy document, it's sort of like it doesn't feel good, right? Even though I was going through a bankruptcy, and this is where I sort of want to, it doesn't matter where you're at right now. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what your past is. It doesn't matter what your history is. It doesn't matter what you've done up to this point. It doesn't matter if you're walking through a bankruptcy. It doesn't matter if you're walking through what our society would say is one of the lowest points of your life. When I started as a Beachbody coach, my bankruptcy didn't end, it wasn't discharged, for everybody that knows what that means. Like it wasn't discharged till I was about 6 months into coaching. But I had a vision and I had a dream, and this is one of my favorite pictures because my back was up against the wall. I was a newly married man, I was a dad now, and I had to make stuff happen, right? I had to make stuff happen, and I want to just give you, if we can forward to the next slide, I made a lot of prayers for this business to come into my life because I knew, just like a lot of us know, like we can go out there and we can make money, right? But I wanted it all. I wanted my cake and to be able to eat it too. I wanted to be able to earn an income, but also be there when my kids go to school, to also see them grow up. I wanted to be able to do, it's like one of my taglines, and this is, whenever I'm mentoring people, this is what we focus in on. I wanted to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want. And for everybody that's different, but I didn't want to have somebody that told me this is when you come, this is when you go, this is what you get paid, this is your cap, right? I didn't want to have to do that. And 11 months into this business, I remember sitting in our condo, sitting on Facebook, hysterically crying, and I made a post that I was now a full-time Beachbody coach, 11 months into the business. And to me, I was rich at that point. But rich was different now. Rich was freedom. I wasn't making the big money, the crazy money, the monopoly type money, right? But I had enough. For us, it was $1,000 a week. I had enough that we could pay our bills at that point. It's a lot different now, monthly bills, but $1,000 a week is what I needed, and that's what I got after 11 months. 3 years into the business, Bob and I went on a spiritual retreat. We were gone for 2 weeks. During that time, 800 coaches came into my business. And I got back. I had my cell phone shut off, I had my computer shut off. I got back. Not one text message, not one phone call, not one email, not one Facebook direct message. 800 coaches came into the business and nobody needed a single thing. And at that time I realized that we really had built freedom, we had built wealth, and it's just continued up until where we are now. And now what I'm really focused in on is legacy. And to me, what legacy is, like passing down a legacy is different than passing down an inheritance. An inheritance is something that you leave to somebody, like a chunk of money that comes, right? Legacy is something that you put in someone's heart, someone's soul, and it's something that gets passed on. It's a way of life. It's a way of operating in this world. It's a way of taking charge. It's just a way of life. That's probably the simplest way that I can put it. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. I want to share what worked for me, what worked for Bob, and there's a lot of success stories, Shane. There's a lot of success stories on this team because we've been focused on that from day one. It's not about an income. It's like the income's great. Take the money. I don't do it for the money, but I take the money. That's Jim Rohn, so I have to give credit where credit's due, but it's about creating life change. It's about creating a way of life. And I want to just give you guys a simple outline that we've followed, and we've followed for Bob for 10 years, me for 9 years, and it goes back to Craig Holiday. It goes back to Craig Holiday, and it also goes back to that connection with God, that connection with Spirit, that connection to living in the divine flow of life. So, you guys want to see this outline? I'll kind of go through it step by step.
Yes.
Here's the first thing you need to do. Just make a one-time decision to put your vital behaviors on autopilot. The vital behaviors need to be like brushing your teeth. I want to see a raise of hands. Who can commit to doing that in 2019 for the whole year?
Brushing my teeth or by the
Your wife wants you to get them both.
All right.
All right. Seriously though, if I had to guess, probably 20% of the people in this room actually have that on autopilot. So put your vital behaviors on autopilot. We focused in on 7 key areas. 5 of those areas were mindset, and 2 of those areas were how-tos. If I could give you, I could literally play a tape. I could create a recording and just play it for every single one of the leaders that I mentor, the leaders that I work one-on-one with. Here's how the conversation goes. Keith, I'm trying to move from 1-star to 2-star, and what are the activities that I need to do? Like, how do I get more people to sign up? Here's the number 1 question. How do I get my people to work? Right? It's the number 1 question that we get. And here's what I want to tell you. Those how-tos, just like we started in the beginning, that's 10% of it. I don't think I've ever answered one of my coaches when they bring that up, because it's not about how to do that. If you're going somewhere and people are inspired by where you're going, they're going to follow you, and they're going to do it without you having to force them. The how-to is, how do I become the most bright, shiny, beautiful, from the inside out, physical human being, mental human being, emotional human being, spiritual human being I can become. So the good news, we've got an outline. The bad news, we've got to work on us. All right, let's forward to the next one. So we're going to start with the 5 how-tos. The first one, decide to become the CEO of your company. Right now, make the decision. You are not a distributor for Beachbody. You're not a coach for Beachbody. So let me take one step back. I probably should have started with this. This is for, like, if you want to really run with this business and do what's possible as a Beachbody coach. So if you're brand new, you're probably like, damn, this is going into a lot of stuff. This is if you want to achieve success at the highest levels, whatever that means to you. let me let you in on a little secret. It's just as easy to make $1 million as it is to make 100. It's a different focus. It's a different focus, it's a different mindset. First thing you want to do, again, decide to become the CEO of your own company. The second piece of that, sorry, we're going to stay on this for a while. Thank you, eager. As being a CEO, you're building a business, right? So you're building a business, and as a business owner, you need to have something that's producing out there, right? So your main focus, if you want to build a big business, is you're focused on recruiting and developing talent. When I say that, does everybody kind of understand what I mean by recruiting and developing talent? When I first got started as a coach, I was willing to do whatever it took to be successful in this business. And what I knew, write this down, this is a huge nugget, I knew that I only needed 5 people. I only needed 5 people. 5 real leaders. But we have to go through a lot of people and talk to a lot of people and help a lot of people in order to get our 5 leaders. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Here's what I did when I first got started. I had this connection with a yoga studio, and I would go into this yoga studio. Now remember that I'm the guy with the big ego, the guy like the alpha male but I also was a new husband, and I also was a new father, and I also needed to make this business happen, and I was willing to do whatever it took to make it happen. A friend of mine owned 14 yoga studios, and he said to me, Keith, you can go into these yoga studios and share Shakeology with everybody. So 2 to 3 nights a week, I would bring my little backpack with my pre-blended Shakeology, shake it up, and there was 20 to 30, mostly women, that were in our perfect demographic, right? Coming out of the yoga studio, and I would, mix up that Shakeology, I would give them shakes, I would write down phone numbers, and I would follow up with them. 10 people would try Shakeology, 3 people would eventually sign up as a customer, 1 person might become a working coach. But the whole time I was looking for that leader. You guys know Liz Hartke? Mm-hmm. That's how Liz and I met. You know Haley Christian? That's how Haley and I met. Another coach, Victoria, that's how her and I met. My focus, so none of the activities changed, but as the CEO of a company, the intent changed. Does everybody get that? Because it's very slight. You're not going to change what you're doing. You're changing what the intent, what the end result that you're looking for is. And I was looking for leaders. I was still out there sharing the products. You're still don't stop running challenge groups. Don't stop doing anything that you're doing. But if you're looking to expand your network, if you're looking to grow your business, the end result isn't just to hit Success Club every month. The end result is that you're ultimately looking for somebody else that wants to do this business with you, right? Make sense? Mm-hmm. And that sort of goes up, the third thing here, I became a network marketing professional, not an affiliate marketer. Understand the business model that we have, because it's the best business model out there. And trust me, I know, because I failed at a couple more before that bankruptcy. We've got it. This is it. It doesn't get any better than having somebody that does all the work for us. They do the shipping, they do the receiving, they do the billing, they do the legal stuff, they do all the account. All we have to do is market the products, right? But we have this. So marketing the products, that's affiliate marketer, right? That model does not even come close to comparing. Affiliate marketer means I can sell something for somebody and they give me a commission. Network marketing means I can sell something for somebody and they give me a commission, but somebody's gonna have a good experience with the product. And once they have a good experience with that product, then I can actually talk to them about the coaching opportunity. And then they can talk to other people and other people and other people. When Bob first was talking, he mentioned 30,000 coaches on his team, right? He's probably only sponsored 100 coaches. Maybe a little more? No, maybe 100, right? But maybe, no more than 200, because he's not that good of a recruiter. But it just stumbled on another nugget. Recruiting isn't the key skill in this business. Developing leaders is. All right, let's jump on up here. So I got my mind right. I'm gonna jump down to that second part, consistently refocusing my energy. So that little funk thing, you need to find a way to get out of your SHIT as fast as possible every single day. Get out of the victim mentality, get out of the mentality that this is for someone else, that it's not for you. You need to find a way, yelling and screaming, doing your workouts, getting a therapist, reading the book, doing that, like whatever it is that works for you. And if you don't have something, look at somebody that has what you want and ask them how you can get it. But get out of your own stuff, get out of your own head, get into that action, right? It's not any more important, it's not any more complicated than get into action. We all get caught up here, like what's the next thing? How do I do this? How do I do that? Get into action. Just start doing something. And then having a morning and evening routine. How long have we been going for?
32.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna go into morning and evening routine. You need a morning and evening routine though. There's tons of stuff out there for that. So what you're doing is you're sandwiching your day. You get a good start, you have a good ending, and then you're consistently refocusing throughout the day. Right? All right, let's jump on to slide number 3. Just keep this one simple, guys. Set a 5-year long-term goal. Bob and I both had the same one. It was to make $1 million. Set a 1-year goal that supports that 5-year goal. And then set a 3-month goal that supports the 1-year goal. Where do you want to be with this business 5 years from now? Right? Here's a hint, your 5-year goal, don't make it rank, make it lifestyle. What do you want to be doing? How do you want your life to look? What do you want it to feel like? What do you want your days to be like? What do you want your months to be like? What do you want your years to be like? What type of income are you going to need? Do you want to give away $100,000 a year? Do you want to travel the world? What is it? How do you want to live? What income do you need to support that lifestyle? So that's your 5-year goal, then okay, a year from now. If that's my 5-year goal, what do I need to accomplish in the next year? Here's the most important one. What's my 90-day goal? This business is built in 90-day increments. What is your 90-day goal? Make that a rank goal. For everybody in here, it should be diamond, if you haven't gotten there already. And I know that may scare you, right? But if you're committed to all the vital behavior, what do we call them now? Vital behavior, vitals, yeah. It's changed so many times. So if you're committed to the vitals, right? You're gonna hit diamond. Insert income disclaimer, but you're gonna hit it. Like it's when people aren't doing it. It's like somebody that says I did P90X, but I didn't get results. No, you didn't do it. Right? I did 21-day fix, but I gained weight. Oh, you didn't do it right. It's not your metabolism. You didn't do it right. All right. stay there for 1 second. Set your 3-month goals. So with all of this, stay in your lane and stop focusing on shiny objects. I want you to have one goal you're focused on achieving right now, and then do the daily activities to achieve that goal. Make sense? All right. No. All right, so we kind of already, so the fourth one here, real personal development, we already covered that. I understood I was the product, not Beachbody. I'm just going to touch on 2 of these real quick. The word personal and development. Developing yourself as a person. Reading 10 pages a day is not personal development, I'm sorry. But that's what we think if we go through a motion, and maybe that's how we start, we have to get ourselves going, but we think that if we go through a motion, if we show up, right? There's been a lot of people showing up to Super Saturdays for 10 years since they started, and they still haven't built a business. Personal development is the combination of those 2 words. You're developing yourself as a person. I would much rather you read 1 book on a key area that you need to improve than read 50 books this year. Read that 1 book and then become what you read. Become what's in there. Does that make sense? Change your relationship to personal development. Stretch yourself. Get a little. It doesn't have to be this like blow you out of the water uncomfort. But get the therapist, get the book that you need, get the mentor, do the thing that you need to do, break off the bad relationship with friends or family or whatever. Like, you need to grow. Because what your product is you. Right? It's not Beachbody, it's not the challenge groups, those are what we invite to. But it's the person that's inviting that's the ultimate product. Does everybody, I know I kind of glanced over that. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
All right. I just want to touch on one more thing here, what I call bridging the gap. Decide where you want to be, whatever your goal is, and then ask yourself this question: who do I need to become to be the man or woman that holds that title long term? Right? Because a lot of times we set these lofty goals and then we forget that, oh man, I'm not capable of doing that right now the way I am. Right? So set that goal. And then bridging the gap is, where are you now? And then what do you need to grow into? Keep it simple, right? All right, let's fast forward to the next one. Man, this is a long story. I'm going to give you guys the abridged story on this. So
It's a good one, though.
it's wicked good. That was in Massachusetts, wicked. When Bob first got signed up as a coach, he tried getting me to sign up for 6 months before I actually signed up, to the point that I deleted him on Facebook. Because it was like, dude, enough, like this Beachbody thing. Yeah, you're gonna retire from your law school, from your law job, right? All right, cool. See you when you fail, dude. 6 months though. He had already become a diamond coach, he was already having success in the business, he was already earning an income. But it took me 6 months to catch the vision. It took me 6 months to see the enormity of this opportunity. And I want to share with you guys, for a lot of people who, if you're doing all of the activities and your business hasn't changed yet, this one piece could be the key. Bob shifted, so what happened is he went out to a summit, he got to meet Craig Holliday and Carl Deichler and Barbie Decker and Barbie Calev, like all these amazing leaders in our company. You know what happened to him? Prior to going out there, Bob believed in the company, he believed in our products, he believed in the Beachbody mission, he believed in himself, he believed that he could actually become successful with this. When he went out there, he knew he was going to be successful with it. He shifted, something happened, and this wasn't even a conscious shift, right? It was something happened and that light bulb went off from believing, you know what, I can do this. I can do it. To knowing without a doubt that he was going to do it. And you know how we talked about in the beginning that who you are, like who's showing up as the person? The second that shift happened, I said, Bob called me up and he said, Keith, this is the last time I'm going to call you and bug you about this, but I just want to talk to you about it. And you know, we had this talk and I remember, and I was like, I didn't even know what it was. Something's different. He's going somewhere, and he's going to go with or without me. And I don't want to be left behind. That mindset shift is the only reason that my entire life changed. Huge, like mindset philosophy thing. Shift from knowing you can do it, sorry, rewind that. Shift from believing you can to knowing you will. Sorry, Bob, you got cut short. All right, so those are the philosophy, the mindset type stuff. And I'm telling you, you implement those things, and then these next two things, this is simple. I can just buzz through this. Number 6, this is the how-to. I shared. Every single day, I used Facebook to reconnect with 10 to 20 people. That's how I use Facebook. I reconnected with them on direct messenger, and then I either direct messaged them or I got them on the phone and I invited them. We didn't even have business opportunities then. Bob would do a little business presentation over the phone. I would get 10 people on, 3 people would sign up, 2 people wouldn't do anything, 1 person would run with it. It was that simple. I shared, right? That's it. We make it way more complicated than it has to be. We gotta get this best selfie and, you know, everybody's posing and, you know, the phone's out. Like, who are you talking to? You need to talk to people. And again, the end goal was looking for business partners, and I kept it simple. That's the how-to. That's it. All right, next one. Final how-to. Took massive action. So I already mentioned how I used Facebook. The third-party tools, super simple. I'll talk about the first one. So this is Jim Rohn. What I lacked in skill, I made up in numbers. I wasn't good in the beginning. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to share the business opportunity. I didn't know how to talk about Shakeology. But I did know that I could talk to more people. I did know that I could work a little smarter. I did know that I could put more effort in. Right now, a lot of us are in that beginning spot, right? What we lack in skill, just make up an effort. Work harder. Talk to more people. And then working the numbers, you gotta understand that I mentioned Bob probably has only signed up 100 people. He's probably talked to 10,000 people that didn't sign up. Right? I mean, that's over 10 years, but this isn't like bat 1 out of 3. You know, you talk to 3 people and 1 signs up. Oh, cool, I'm gonna talk to another 3 more people. 1's gonna sign up. What it really looks like is you talk to 100, 10 look at the opportunity, 3 sign up. Can we fast forward to the next one? This is what I would recommend leaving here today with to do. Put the vitals on autopilot. Set those 5-year, 1-year, and 3-month goals and stay in your lane. That simply means like set your goals and focus on those goals, not other goals. Share like crazy. And here's the most important one. You have to become the person capable of achieving and holding the rank, the title, the goal. I was going to do a little reading right now out of the book, but I'm going to give you the abridged version of that. There's at the end of the book, it talks about Navy SEAL instructors. And the Navy SEAL instructors say that they have no idea when someone shows up at BUDS. So BUDS is their training, like you know how they have that week-long BUDS, basic underwater demolition school, is that what it is? And then they have Hell Week inside of BUDS. Anybody that doesn't know what Hell Week is? If you don't, just ask your neighbor. So anyways, these guys sleep for 4 hours in a week. Not 4 hours a night, 4 hours. And they're out in the cold and they're doing drills. Only 25% of the people graduate BUDS. And the instructors say they'll have all these guys come in and they think that they're going to be able to pick, but they have no idea who's actually going to do it and who's not going to do it. Because they don't know what's inside of the people, right? They don't know what's inside till you get down there and you're on day 3 or 4 or 5 and you haven't slept and you're cold and you can't stop shivering and you know your legs are cramping up and all that stuff's happening. But they said if there was one indicator, if there was one true indicator, you can see it in their eyes. The ones who are going to make it, you can see it in their eyes. And then the next line they said was, they're the ones who want it the most. You're not going to have to go through anything as physical as a Navy SEAL would have to go through. But I'm telling you, you're going to have to grow through mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When you go home today, this afternoon, this morning, might even be this morning. So when you get home, look at yourself, look in the mirror. How bad do you really want it? Be willing to bet on yourself. Be willing to grow little by little by little. I love you guys. I believe in each and every one of you. I'm just grateful for the opportunity.